Module 6, Managing Workbook Data, Part 4, starting at page 6-14. Working with grouped data. The thing about grouping the data is that you can get intermediary statistics like a sum, a total, or an average or something like that from smaller sets of the whole spreadsheet. Now, before we start, look at this lesson is working with grouped data. Turn the page and look at that's working with grouped worksheets. So in this little lesson, we're going to be working with one worksheet and the data in one worksheet. The next lesson will group worksheets together and do something to all of the worksheets at the same time. That will help you just to keep straight in your mind what we're doing. So on this worksheet, we have all 12 months and we have quarterly totals. And if you looked at the formula in the quarterly totals box, you'll see that it's a sum formula. That's what we expected. Let's say that we only want to see the quarterly totals and we don't want to see the individual months because the lower level manager, the first line manager, will need to see the individual data, but the higher up you go in the management chain, the more grouped and summarized the data would be. That was a free business lesson. So we're going to get rid of January to March, but what we're going to do is hide it, not using the hide method that we used, but we're going to do it by a grouping method. On that international sheet, we'll choose the first 3 months, and since we're doing something to the data, we'll go to the data page, the data tab, and we're working on grouping. So let's go over in the outlining because we're going to kind of make an outline. And in the group, if you drop the more button, you can see that you see the 3 little dots. That means there's another menu. If you click that, there's another menu coming as opposed to auto outline. So I'm going to choose group. And it said, would you like to group rows or columns? I would like to group columns, please. Now, just a second, let me pause it because I made this video already and deleted it by mistake, if you can believe that. And of course, it's too big for the recycle bin, so I'm making it again. But I have to go undo something that I did at the end of the lesson. Just one second. Alrighty, we'll do it in a second together, but this is it. So, having already done it, all 3 of these have already been done, the 4 quarters, but you notice the line at the top that shows where a grouping has occurred, and if I click on, there are levels. This is the full detail level. Group 1 is the full detail level, and group 2 is less, and you'll see. Notice that these are now hidden and all that's left is the first quarter. And it put the amounts in there for us. If I did the second level, oh, it's going. I have it hidden, so it's going to show more every time you work with a different level. It shows or hides more. And your next exercise here and the next step is to do the other 3 quarters the same way. Select it and go up and group the columns. So we'll assume that that's all done here. And now we continue with the next activity. And all of the columns are grouped now and hidden at this level, so we see only the totals. And if you see the green line in there, that's because my mouse was left inside one of those columns, and it would have been in quarter 2. So I'll just click outside and notice that the line goes away. That's just for fun. If you click the second level, you'll see all of these are open, but I had closed that one, so let me open it, and now I can see the full level. And that level 3 is not supposed to be there. It's left over from something else, so we'll just ignore it. Let's go back and click on level 1. This is now going to be step number 6, and what I just had to go undo, I'm going to go redo it again. So click on the first outline level. And now we're going to go to the File tab and way down to Options. There are a lot of options of more advanced things you can do with Excel. The other software programs are like this. And we hardly use any of those in these introductory lessons. But as you keep working, you can learn more about that on your own. And you should. I'm going to click Advanced. And you can see from the size of the vertical scroll bar that there's a lot of information on this window. We're going to scroll way down, keep going, have faith, way down, and there are two sets of options here. There's a display options for the workbook, which is the whole file. And then there are display options for this worksheet. Which one? The international worksheet. They only apply to this one worksheet. If you do something up here, it applies to the whole, every worksheet in the workbook. And this one, it only applies to this one worksheet. And the choice was to, we're going to uncheck show outline symbols if an outline is applied, which we did apply an outline and we don't want to see the symbols, so we're going to uncheck it and click OK to apply. That's just a little exposure to those advanced features, um, just so you know. A lot of this information here is just so you know it exists, and then you can go play with it. If you look on page 15 at the gold box for the subtotals, you can make subtotals going either vertically, as we did in columns, or horizontally in rows, which is actually the way I see it more often than not, but whatever. And I'm not going to demonstrate it for you. You follow the same procedure, but you just go the other direction with what you're grouping. And you have to have, for example, just tell you one tip. We have here a region of North America and a region of worldwide, and there may be some other regions, north, south, east, west, whatever. And what it will do is at every break in region is what it will say. At every break in region, apply whatever subtotals you want to see. It would be good if you played with that, but in the interest of time, I'm just going to keep going.